Stand as you're able. Our call to worship is Sweet, Sweet Spirit. Sweet, sweet Spirit,
Please join me in the response to the call to worship this morning. O God, Holy Spirit, come to us and among us. Convict, convert, and consecrate many hearts and lives.
Spirit of God, Spirit of God, Spirit of hope, revive us. Renew us, remain us, set our hearts on fire.
Amen.
Our opening hymn is Spirit of the Living God.
Amen. You may be seated. And welcome. Good morning, church.
Good morning.
Welcome to 7th Street United Methodist Church on this Pentecost Sunday, the day that we celebrate the birth of the Church of Jesus Christ by and through the coming of the Holy Spirit. And I'm so glad to have each and every one of you here on this day when we conclude Easter season with this very, very special occasion, this feast day of the church. So I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that God has called us in this place, in this sacred space, and in his sacred presence with each and every one of you this morning. Just have a couple of announcements to make before we receive our tithes and offerings this morning. I invite you to look inside your bulletins under the announcements and see what is coming up in the coming days in the life of the church. Please note that tomorrow is our annual Father-Son banquet in the fellowship hall. Hope all of our men can make it. We have a tremendous baked steak dinner that we are going to enjoy. Mr. Phil Button is going to be our guest speaker. So I'm excited about that. So we hope that all of you can make it out. Also, I want you to please make note. Please keep this in mind. As of Friday, I will be leaving, traveling abroad. I will be going out of the country for 2 weeks on Friday. In my absence, Reverend Jonathan Neves, the pastor of Christ St. Andrew's Charge, will be providing emergency pastoral care. God forbid if something should happen while I am gone. Reverend Jonathan Neves will have that responsibility of providing emergency pastoral care to anyone affiliated with 7th Street. His contact information is listed in the bulletin. His phone number is listed in the bulletin under the announcements. So if something happens, please contact him while I am gone. Okay? Also, we are going to be receiving a special offering this morning. A lot of you know, some of you may not. The family that lives in that white two-story house right next to the Dairy Queen across the street, their house burned on Friday. And I'm pretty sure they lost everything in that show. The daughter she comes to our Bible Superheroes youth Bible study every Sunday evening. So we are going to be collecting a special offering for them this morning to help with their needs. If you have a check and you would like to donate, you can donate next week too if you're not prepared to do this today. But write in the memo line of your check, special offering, and we will know, that way we'll know where that money is going. If you have cash to give, please put it in one of the envelopes in front of you in the pews. Put it in the envelope, mark it as special offering, and we will get it to the appropriate place. Okay? Anyone have a birthday today, or in the immediate, either last week or this week? Anybody celebrating a birthday? Anybody need to feed Pete the pig? No? Well, it is the church's birthday. So we are going to sing happy birthday to the church. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to you. and many more. Amen. Thank you. And always remember, if you have a prayer request that you would like to be spoken aloud this morning during our time of prayer, or would like to be added to our prayer list on the back of the bulletin, please tear off this flap on your bulletin, write the name down and the request, and drop it in the plate as the ushers pass them around. And I will ask our ushers to come forward. Holy and gracious God, you who are the creator and giver of life, who have called us into this place and into your presence this morning to celebrate you and to praise and worship you for the great things you have done for us in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. We give you thanks and praise now, Lord, and give gifts back to you in appreciation of that greatest gift, Lord. And we ask you to bless them, consecrate them, that your church may use them to fulfill its mission, to make your reign a reality in our neighborhood, the community, and your world, that we may make disciples of Jesus Christ, to see your world transformed. And all of God's people say, Amen. All right. Maybe see. One of the great privileges that I have as a pastor is to receive new members into our beloved community that we know as 7th Street United Baptist Church. And so I am very excited that on today, this day of celebration anyway, that when we celebrate Pentecost and coming of the Holy Spirit, added to that is the celebration of receiving 2 new members into our community of faith. So I'm going to ask Barb and Emily Stewart to please come up. You can stand on this street sides. Now, these are not new folks to any of us, right? Everybody knows Barb and Emily. They have been a faithful part of our community for a long, long time. So, do you all have any words that you would like to share this morning at all? No. Well, let's do this, and I hate to put you on the spot. But tell the folks how you first became affiliated with 7th Street.
Well, as you know, I kind of grew up here, and I was a member here, and then I married a pastor, and I turned on y'all, and I transferred my membership to his church, and so now that we're back, I've always felt like I was part of your family, so now I'm back.
Emily, you want to share anything? No. Okay. Emily has been here from the beginning, right? When we become members of the local church and of Christ's Church University, we do so by taking solemn vows. And I can't reiterate the importance of these vows. God takes vows very seriously. We are at this point entering into a covenant. Emily and Barb and you and me, all of us are entering into covenant together and with God. So with that, that is the importance of these membership vows that Barb and Emily are about today. So these are the questions of renunciation of sin and the profession of faith. On behalf of the whole church, Barb and Emily, do you renounce the spiritual forces of wickedness, reject the evil powers of this world, and turn from your sin? Do you accept the freedom and power God gives you to resist evil, injustice, and oppression in whatever forms they present themselves? Do you confess Jesus Christ as your Savior, put your whole trust in His grace, and promise to serve Him as your Lord in union with the church which Christ has opened to people of all ages, nations, and races? Do you, as Christ's body, and this is where you come in, congregation, do you, as Christ's body, the church, reaffirm both your rejection of sin and your commitment to Christ? Will you nurture one another in Christian faith and life and include these persons, Barb and Emily, now before you in your care? Barb and Emily, as members of Christ's Universal Church, will you be loyal to Christ through the United Methodist Church and do all in your power to strengthen its ministries? As members of this congregation, will you faithfully participate in its ministries by your prayers, your presence, your gifts, your service, and your witness to receive and profess the Christian faith as contained in the Old and New Testaments? Members of the household of God, I commend these persons to your love and care. Do all in your power to increase their faith, confirm their hope, and perfect them in love. The God of all grace, who has called us to eternal glory in Christ, establish you and strengthen you by the power of the Holy Spirit, that you may live in grace and peace. The Holy Spirit empowered you to be a faithful member of Christ's church. The Holy Spirit empowered you to be a faithful member of Christ's church. Welcome to 7th Street. Welcome back to 7th Street. United Methodist Church. Congregation, family of God, welcome your new sisters. That most certainly is a cause to rejoice. That is a cause of celebration. Amen? Amen. Hey, it's a party up in here today, y'all. Celebrate. Get happy. So we rejoice in all that God does for us. We rejoice in God's grace who calls us to be adopted children of God, who calls us into life and into being. But we do come into this place not only rejoicing, but weighed down with burdens as well. We come into this place feeling the weight of people that are hurting, that we know that we are close to, people that we love, situations that are going on in our community or our state or our nation or our world. Or all of the above. So now is the time that we call out those concerns and bring them before the Lord our God, so that He can apply the needed grace. Yes, Lord.
I want to look at Nancy Wood again. She has, in particular, obviously we want to keep her lifted up because she's struggling with cancer. But and she does seem to be doing better, but she has an important wedding family coming up here in June. And I just want to look at it and pray that she would be both being blessed and then be blessed by the chance to participate in these.
Yes.
It means a lot.
Amen. Continue to keep Nancy covered in prayers. God bless her. Lord have mercy. Yes.
Want us to all remember Bible school, which will be starting next Monday night, be with the workers and the leaders as they prepare. And all the students, all the kids that will be coming, pray that the power of the Holy Spirit will be on the teachers and all the lessons, and that this be the best Bible school ever.
Amen. Yes, Sue.
For 2 weeks, I had worked with y'all. And when times come, I know that he's fighting something. He called me yesterday, and they've had some kind of virus going around. For 3 days, he's been down with respiratory that. He's very weak. He said, all he's done is
Brother John. Well, you be sure to let him know that we all said hi. We're praying for him and we love him. Bless the Lord. Continue to keep John in your prayers. Yes.
Judy Boso used to belong to the church here. She needs prayer. She's in the hospital. She has lots of complications. She will probably be starting dialysis. So just keep her in your prayers. Jim and Betty Boso's daughter.
What was the name? I'm sorry.
Judy Boso.
Okay.
Yeah, she's across the hall at Worthington right now. Right now? Okay, she's not back from the hospital, but she's right across from Dad's room at Worthington for rehab.
Okay.
And then she just took a course for the worst, and they took her back to the hospital. So they took like 45 pounds of fluid off of her.
Bless the Lord. Judy Bosa. Keep her in your prayers, please.
Remember, Rachel, she faced on this last night, and they will be traveling, next Friday. They will be, by bus, by train, by ferry. It's not on the rail, but the travel plane to Boston. But she thinks that just do a plane and zip over there real quick, and that'll be a lot better, which is probably what they said. She looks good, and then we hiked up into the mountains. They've been staying with some individuals up in the mountains. She said that they were able to share their faith with her. She was telling us about there's a speaker, right? There's speakers all over where they were stationed. And about 4 in the morning, they blare prayers in Arabic, really loud, and they're just like, I mean, I don't know where I go. There's like something blasted or something, you know. But they do witness gospel people, but it's done in a very different way. So they just pray for them as they head to their debrief for about 5 days. But she looks well. She's not moving.
Bless her, Lord. Bless Rachel, and continue to pray for Rachel and her crew, her group, as they are preparing to leave for their final destination before returning home at the end of the night. Praise God. Any other requests? Keep Eve in your prayers as she continues to recover from her hip replacement surgery. Eve took a spill about a week or so ago, but she's good. Nothing broken, nothing major happened, but she did take a spill and landed on the knee that she had done a few months ago. So keep Eve in your prayers as she continues to recover. And keep me and my group in your prayers as we leave the country on Friday. We fly out of Columbus Friday afternoon to Newark, New Jersey, and then from Newark direct to Tel Aviv. It's about a 10.5-hour flight. So please keep us in your prayers as we head over this week for safe travels. Any yes?
I have blessings. One of the men sitting right there that took care of me, and I have 2 weeks.
Yeah, amen. And we are so thankful to have you back with us. It is a joy to have you in this place with us. And I will heed your recommendation and recommend Wayne for sainthood. Anyone else?
It's glad to see our visitors back with us today.
Yes.
And I've got news for them. One more time, you're no longer a visit, you're part of us.
Yes, Craig, thank you. Welcome. Good to see you as always. Yes, Phyllis, I saw your hand.
I have a praise. Daniel was awarded a Christian Fellowship Award, a trophy at school. That's pretty good for an all-boy class in kindergarten.
Amen. Praise God. Anything else? Yes.
I actually haven't been here for a while, but, I've just been back in town, so I'm gonna certainly be back next week. I would like to thank the, I'm currently on the environment for, free parenthood here, so I felt that we both would be in that area and the child, and, quick thank my mother to do this every week. And, I'm really scared, I just want God to keep us, keep them bring on. Bring on, as possible.
Bless her. What's your mom's name again? Gloria?
I know where she's at, but at first she was missing. She got work and go to the college, golf, and I didn't know where she was. I know where she is now. And it's a rough ride for her, and I just want her to stay safe and so it's a lot of trouble.
Bless
My
her.
mom had 5 years playing softball.
Bless her.
She had 5 years playing, and I told her it was a bad idea, and she chose to do wrong. It was not that idea.
We are praying for the Lord. We're praying for the Lord. And for you. Any other requests? Unspoken. We take all of these spoken and unspoken concerns that have been before us this morning, and we lay them at the feet of our Creator, before the throne of grace, because no matter how small or great the need, He cares for all of them, because He cares for us. Listen. Holy and loving God, throughout this Easter season, you have come to us in your resurrection love. We have seen the prints of the nails in your hands and feet. We have felt the wound in your side. We have been with you on the seashore. But sometimes we still quiver with fear and uncertainty. Lord, send your Holy Spirit upon us today and fill us with Pentecostal power and Pentecostal hope. Let the rushing wind of your Spirit stir us up. Stir us up to action for good and for healing. Let the flame of your power ignite our hearts with passion for Jesus Christ. To preach his good news to the poor, to set the captives free, to give sight to the blind, and to liberate the oppressed. To proclaim justice and peace to all and for all. As we have brought names of people to prayer today, asking for healing mercies. Nancy Hogue and John and Judy Boso and Rachel and her group, Lori, all the spoken and unspoken needs brought before you today. May we also add our names, asking for empowerment and renewal of our spirits. Take us and use our gifts and our talents for healing in your world. As we now lift all of these concerns before you in silence. Lord God Almighty, help us to be bold in our proclamation of your great good news of love and hope, of redemption and reconciliation, of salvation and liberation. And we ask it in the name that is above every name, Jesus Christ the Lord, and all of God's people say, Amen.
Okay, good morning, guys and girls. And how are you? Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Kathy, here. Tell me your name again. Jamie, that's right. Miss Shirley, my goodness. She doesn't have a brain sometimes. You know it? Okay. Anybody know what this is? Okay, let me put it this way. What's the picture on the camera? Yeah. Yeah, it's a kite. It's a real pretty kite, and this was a kite that he brought to the beach one time when we went to the beach. Now, it was, you can't tell it here, but it was way out in the air. Way out there. Sometimes it's hard to get a kite to get out in the air. This one was out there. What do you think was making that kite stay up in the air? Raise your hands in that. Okay. The wind. What do you think? The wind? Yeah. You want to hold that for me? Yeah. It was the wind. And if you open up the Bible to the little wind. Okay. Yes, it was the wind. It's the wind. It's a little kind of watch this kite fly up in the air. It go way up high, and suddenly the wind would kind of clear a little bit, and what would happen to the kite? It would go down, dip down, and back out. It's a lot of fun to fly a kite. Have you ever done that? Have you ever? You have? Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do a kite. Now, we can't see that wind up there. Can you? You can't see it, but it's working. Yeah. We can't see it. Have you ever heard the wind? What does it sound like? There we go. Yeah, sometimes it blows down my chimney and it flops this little metal thing on my chimney makes a lot. It's really blowing hard. Sometimes you hear the wind and it's you're in bed at night, you hear a storm in the night, and you hear the wind blowing. And the windows rattling sometimes. You can hear the wind, that's right. And, yeah, you like to be in the snow, me too. Yeah, I'm kind of glad we don't have a snowy day, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, then put your hand up to the back of your hand. Here's another way that you can experience the wind. Okay, rub on your hand. You can't see it, you can hear it, you can also rub. You can feel it, yeah. You can feel the wind blowing, yes. Now, there's another way we can see or experience the wind. We can see it through Carry stuff away. It happens, and they can have some big storms. Yes. Blow on it and see what happens. What happens when you blow? It spins, that's right. You see the wind moving things, don't you? You see the wind moving things. Now, today, many churches are celebrating Pentecost Sunday. As Pastor Brad said, this is the Sunday that the church was born. There was a lot of disciples. Have you got that scripture ready? Would you want to read it for me? It's chapter 2, verse 1 through 4. Chapter 2.
Now that the day of Pentecost had fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled the whole house. Where they were sitting, then they appeared to them divided tongues out of the fire, and one sat up upon each of them, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance.
So, there was a mighty wind that the people were in a room, sitting in a room together. And the mighty wind came in. And it was the precious Holy Spirit that came down and filled each and every one of them. Landed on their head and would clear through the body. And gave them the power of the Holy Spirit. And the church was born. God's Spirit is the Holy Spirit. And each time we ask God to come into our heart and life, He comes in by the mighty Holy Spirit wind. He comes into our heart and life. Now, you're going to think, I can't see the Holy Spirit. I can't see Him. Okay? We can't see Him. But we can see Him moving people. Blow in your pinnacle. Blow. Make the Holy Spirit blow that pinnacle. Blow, yes. We can see the mighty wind blowing in His people. And we as Christians have that Holy Spirit that gives us the power to go out and do the things that God would have us to do. That's how you can see it. Right. Yeah, you can do it that way too. Yeah. Okay, now, how can we hear the Holy Spirit? How can we hear Him? In Revelation 3:20. What? Yes, you hear the wind blowing in your car. Yes. Okay, you can hear Him. And Jesus said at the door in Revelation 3, behold, I knock at the door. And if anyone hears my voice, and that's me now, I will come into Him. Is that sweet? You can hear Him say that. Can't see the Holy Spirit, but you know He's there because He speaks to your heart. Have you guys been someplace before and something tells you to do something nice for somebody, and you do it? And I'm not going to tell you a story. I saw God working in you. I just happened to be blessed to see it happen. We were in Bible study. We had 14 students that night. And Shiloh was there at the table. And she wasn't finished with her father and son gift, or her father's gift. And she said, Miss Shirley, can I keep working? I said, sure. And while she was working, I said, we'll gather the chairs around this little time. And God spoke to me, because Shiloh was new, and maybe kind of got left out a little bit. But God spoke to you to go get Shia a chair and place it in that story time circle. He spoke to you to do that. And when she came over, she says, where am I going to sit? And all the kids said, Aiden got you a chair right there. And the look on her face was priceless. Now, it may sound like it was just a good thing, but it wasn't. It was a big thing. You listened to God speak to you to reach out to Shia and make her feel welcome. That was a big thing. That was a big thing. That was a God thing that happened there. We can see Him moving in you and each one of us. Even though you're young, oh my gosh, God speaks to you and you guys are able to hear much better than us old people out here. We don't hear like young people do. That's a shame. That's a shame. Now, how can we honor God? Because, yes, you do need to take it home. Not to look, just to think. Okay? Okay? The Bible says when you are in His presence, have you ever been scared to death? Something is going to happen. Huh? Yeah. Okay. That's nice. Okay. Now we can feel God's presence. The Bible says, "I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." Isn't that sweet? God says, "No, we don't have to fear. His presence is inside us." That is sweet. Let's go. Is that okay? Hold your hands. Okay. Oh, Father, we thank you for sending the sweet Holy Spirit. We thank you for Pentecost that brought our church together alive with your precious Holy Spirit. Help us to listen. Help us to do and ask for the presence in your Holy Spirit in our life every day. And maybe Pastor Brad is yet to bring our message to us this morning. And we're going to give you praise and glory for all things. And we all say amen. Amen. Okay, thank you.
Let's take a moment to pray for our brother. Lord God, we ask for your healing touch to be upon Bill right now, whatever is going on, whatever he is in need of. Meet that need. Move in his mind and touch his spirit with your spirit, that he will be made whole through the power and presence of your Holy Spirit. We ask this in the name that is above every name, Jesus Christ the Lord. Amen. Our reading this morning comes from the Acts of the Apostles. This is the coming of the Holy Spirit. When Pentecost Day arrived, they were all together in one place. Suddenly a sound from heaven, like the howling of a fierce wind, filled the entire house where they were sitting. They saw what seemed to be individual flames of fire alighting on each one of them. They were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages as the Spirit enabled them to speak. There were pious Jews from every nation under heaven living in Jerusalem. When they heard this sound, a crowd gathered. They were mystified because everyone heard them speaking in their native languages. They were surprised and amazed, saying, "Look, aren't all the people who are speaking Galileans? Every one of them? How then can each of us hear them speaking in our native language?" Parthians, Medes, and Elamites, as well as residents of Mesopotamia, Judea and Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt, and the regions of Libya bordering Cyrene. Visitors from Rome, both Jews and converts to Judaism. Cretans and Arabs, we hear them declaring the mighty works of God in our own languages. They were all surprised and bewildered. Some asked each other, "What does this mean?" Others jeered at them, saying, "They're full of new wine." Peter stood with the other 11 apostles. He raised his voice and declared, "Judeans and everyone living in Jerusalem, know this. Listen carefully to my words. These people aren't drunk, as you suspect. After all, it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. Rather, this is what was spoken through the prophet Joel. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young will see visions. Your elders will dream dreams. Even upon my servants, men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. I will cause wonders to occur in the heavens above and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and a cloud of smoke. The sun will be changed into darkness and the moon will be changed into blood before the great and spectacular day of the Lord comes. And everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. This is the word of God for the people of God. Praise God. Let us pray. God of wind and fire, great spirit whose breath gives life to all of creation. Open our hearts to you now. Stir within us the holy fire only you can bring. Embolden us to receive your dynamic power and breathe your life into your church. And all of God's people say, amen. From the very beginning of time itself, God's Spirit has been doing wild and unexpected things. From the very beginning, God's Spirit has been unpredictable, untamable, powerful, radical. But we see this at the moment of creation itself, when the Spirit smashes through the dark and formless void and begins to do what the Spirit always does. Birth something new. We see it all throughout the Hebrew Scriptures, empowering shepherds to break the chains of oppression and lead slaves in Egypt to freedom. Empowering the shepherd Moses to birth a people called Israel through the power of the Holy Spirit. Leading folks like Abram to leave everything that was familiar to them and just go. Just start traveling. Just go. Never mind the destination. Never mind that Abram had no clue where he was going. Just go, and that's what the Spirit does. The Spirit does wild and unexpected things. And Abram, because of his obedience to the Spirit, becomes the common ancestor of the world's 3 monotheistic religions and the person through whom all of humanity is blessed. Because through his family lineage will come the Messiah, the Savior of the world. The Holy Spirit of God, church, is always doing the unexpected. And the Holy Spirit of God is always wild and untamable and unpredictable. The Holy Spirit of God is always birthing something new. The Holy Spirit of God gives prophetic voice to common folks that then are empowered to speak divine truth to power. Wild and unexpected things like calling out injustice and oppression, giving vision to the world as it should be, not as it is. A godly world where all people are loved, where all people are treated as the image bearers of God. The Holy Spirit of God is always birthing something new, something radical, something untamed, wild, and unconventional, something that is out of the box. Like smashing through the walls and locked doors of the room where the disciples are waiting for that promise. The promise that Jesus gave them that the Holy Spirit indeed would come. Waiting to be baptized, not baptized in water, but totally immersed by Holy Spirit power. Blowing through that place, that room, like a hurricane, lighting the disciples with holy fire. To spread the holy message, the good news that Jesus is not in tomb, but is alive. Resurrection reality, truth for the ages, smashing through their fear and empowering them to get outside of those 4 walls and go and spread that message, speaking folks' language, whatever that language may be. Tell everybody that they are loved by God and can share in the life of God through Jesus Christ. And in that resurrection power, in that holy power of the Holy Spirit, that fire that has been kindled in them, Peter stands up, Peter of all people, discovers his courage and stands and resurrecting the prophet Joel's vision, where the Spirit immerses and animates all of humanity with his power, inviting old men, women, and children to dream God's dream, to see with God's eyes, and to speak with a prophet's anointing. Through Peter, the Holy Spirit does what the Holy Spirit does. births something radical, something wild, something unexpected. That's the reach of God's Spirit. That, church, is the reach of grace. You see, differences between people on that first day of Pentecost not only are laid aside, but are embraced. Diversity is celebrated. The coming of the Holy Spirit on that day, the inbreaking of God's kingdom, God's reigning on earth, the Messianic age, the last days. And we've been living in that age ever since. And that age is to be marked by divine, radical inclusivity. God's affirmation that Jesus is Lord of all. That the good news is meant for all. And God's grace is available to all. God smashes through any and all barriers that we erect. Be they locked upper rooms or sanctuaries. Be they cultural, linguistic, age, gender, ethnicity, nation of origin, socioeconomic status, or any other barrier you can think of, God smashes through it. Because God is the God of all people. Now that's why. And that's unexpected. That's out of the box. That's God. Always birthing something new. Always. Birthing the church. The coming together of all people, regardless of who or what they are. And because of that radical inclusivity, the church, anything it seeks to do, is possible. Through the power of the Holy Spirit, nothing the church seeks to do is impossible. Nothing. There's a hymn by a gentleman named Marty Howden called All Are Welcome, that I think really captures the spirit of Pentecost. No pun intended. And it goes like this. Let us